Three, two, one, and we go. Okay, so then we go to 2-4 profile on the cross of the rulership. The second line is the first line of the Democrat. So the 2 of 4 says, I don't want to rule. I don't want to get out all of that. I would like to have the power, but I really don't want to have to give it anything back. This is the whole thing about the not self 2-4. The not self 2-4 doesn't know how to give anything back. It's a depleter of resources. It stays locked away in its environment and it does the best it can to find resources that will keep it going. It's very clever at being able to get just enough resources to be able to maintain, to leave me alone state. A philosophy of let the other rule can be quite dangerous. And there's no way that you can take the 2-4 and across things to see about these children. They are not going to be caught up materially as long as they have the basics of what they need. If they don't, that may be an engine of calling them out, and then of course they can get very involved on the material plane. 2-4 children in the third world are out there working. They're called early. They're enforced to. In the West, we have a very different relationship with our 2-4 children. In most cases, they're not forced out into the material world, and they learn how to get it together in a very special way, a natural way. Often, when you meet a 2-4, you wonder how did they survive? They have their way. These are the kind of people that will write a book about how to visit Europe on $1 a day, how to stay overnight in a 5-star hotel for 3-star rates. And that's the magic of the 2-4. The ultimate magic of the 2-4 is that I can have anything that your money can buy and I can get it cheaper. And I don't have to give anything back. You can bet if it's going to give to some kind of trip to the guy who drags my bags that you would, and so forth and so on. It's a very different game. That can be very clever because they learn the ways of bringing in resources that nobody sees. Now, again, I keep on bending towards criminality in my descriptions this morning, but I do want you to keep in mind that this day and age, with the technologies we have with the 2-4s, 2-5s, 6-2s, and 5-2s, have a tendency to be behind closed doors. And this age behind closed doors, in front of computer screen, that I hear very tricky things that can be done. It was like that bank embezzlement that took place in Germany somewhere. Some clerk in the bank, and basically what he was doing was that he was taking out 1/10 of a percentage point of daily interest off of savings accounts that were all in the bank. Now it was as small as a fraction you didn't see. Nobody noticed. He was taking about 600,000 Deutsche Mark. It's about 300,000 euros a year, and nobody noticed for years and years, and nobody noticed. Now that's for crime. They're sneaky bastards, you know. You don't know what they're doing behind those doors. And if you're looking at the world of viruses, you're looking at force. And if you're looking at the world of computer viruses, you're looking at 2-4s. I know a number of 2-4 hackers, so this is just a sidebar into understanding the 2-4. Again, the not self will lead to many things. I just wanted to be clear that when it comes to the 2-4 on this cross, it's not easy for them to be really a person to participate in what that energy is. There's this pull back for them, and because there's a child that can be directed to its power through its educational possibilities, the only thing that's left open is that material becomes everything for them. And of course, that's just as unhealthy. So the reality is that when you're dealing with a 2-4, the only thing that you have to be able to do is that you have to be able to randomly support them as they're growing up. That's very important. That's randomly. In other words, there's no set pattern to it. There's no reliability to it. There's no promise of any more. But this is the one thing that will keep a 2-4 from exploring how to bring in resources in a way that is not healthy. The other thing is to recognize that ultimately 2-4s, as they mature, one of the great wishes is to understand how to get to resources, but of something. There was a productivity environment. I thought it was hilarious. One of those international satellite networks. And it was a story of a guy that worked for a company in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that bottled olives, sold olives to people. He was the head of some kind of productivity department in the business, and the company had a contest to see who bring in the new efficient ideas. Now, if you ever seen the 2-4 business acumen, this was it. The idea was taking as an olive out. Hey, they won't care, like the bank thief, they won't care, take one olive out. So amazing to me that this advertised and publicized. The company made an extra $1 million a year. This is the 2-4. This is what the 2-4 can figure out. You don't have to be any more, and everybody's happy. He got a raise. He got even his face on an advertising. And I think, are they nuts? Do they understand what this principle means? I'm a coffee lover. I used to buy a tin of coffee like this. It was full on the top. Now these tins are still the same price. They're still at the same price. None of them are filled to the top. None of them are only half full. And you're still paying the same price, plus inflation over 20 years for the damn tin. These Tins are made of gold. It's amazing. These two for rulership materialism. Sell them to the same can, but put a little bit less. And they don't notice. Try this. Go to the art show. Get all the cans. Look for it because you have to find it. It's the law. They have to print it. Look for where they actually tell them how much it is. It's a so-called 1 liter can, or whatever name they give it. It has nothing to do with the size of the can. It's supposed to contain the amount. Driving a car is really a huge investment in the States. Not in keeping your car going. I mean, the taxes are about 80%, so you end up paying a fortune. It's amazing to me how distorted it is. Everybody's watching the crude oil prices. You see the crude oil go up a fraction, and the gasoline price jumps up a fraction. Everybody's screaming, but nobody's screaming about the 80% that the government is taking. It's like with cigarettes. I'm not a moralist. I'm not here to pay for the medical care of people who get cancer from smoking. That's not my job. I'm here to be a consumer, and I'm punished by from being a consumer. I have to pay for all of that. It's all taxes. This is what the 45 does. It's why you have these examples, so you really understand this. What the 45 does. The 45 says, "Okay, give me a lot. I give you a little back. And what I give you back, I want you to appreciate that I give it back." Amaiata, obrigado. Ciao. Bem-vindo. We give you roads to drive on. Don't complain me. So when you're dealing with us, if you want to understand that one of the gifts